Well, hi everybody. This is Ashley here, aka Anime Angel, and this is my first vlog. This vlog is going to be mostly about Critical Role, so my vlog is going to be called Crit Vlog. I know it's really corny, but so I just want to say that thank you for clicking on this video first. And thank you for supporting Otakus which I am head writer and co-founder of. So why am I doing this? First off, well, I'm doing this because I am a big fan of Critical Role, and I just feel that having a vlog about the show will allow me to express myself in a way that I can tell people how I feel about the show and also share experiences and other things with other people who have experience playing D&D or have not. So this is for all the critters out there and for all those who have not been involved with the show quite yet. So without further ado, I will do hopefully a synopsis of what's been transpiring so far in the show. So from episode, I would say 1 to 13, I'm gonna do this in sagas, by the way. So from episode 1 to 13, we have the Crackhammer / Underdark saga, which entails that the Critical Role crew, or Vox Machina, has to go to a town called Crackhammer in order to fix a problem that the villagers have been having. And from there, they go and unexpectedly and unwillingly go into the Underdark, where they have to fight this big monster called the Beholder, which is really strong. They defeat it, come back up, and realize that there's a much more bigger threat that's coming. So that's from episode 1 to 13 already. There's like a big transition to a huge conflict that may or may not happen later on in the series of events that was created. So then after that, we have a couple of episodes that are like shopping episodes, or episodes that allow people who have not played D&D before to get tips. So those 2 episodes are after that. And then from there on, after they got the Beholder and what the Beholder has been holding, they have this journey to a city called Vasselheim. And I believe from 15 until episode 23, they figure out what they have to do in Vasselheim. And then from 23 till now, I will call that the Briarwoods of Whitestone saga, which we're currently at. So from the Beholder to now, it's a huge gap in time, and we get to see throughout the whole series different characters and how they interact with each other. So it's kind of like also mini sagas in between, because we get to experience each character's story and learn more about them. So I guess in between the Vasselheim saga to the Briarwoods, we learn more about Keyleth and her journey and what she has to do. And in the beginning episodes, we kind of learn more about each member of Vox Machina individually. And then now we're kind of in the big battle between Vox Machina and the Briarwoods. And this is Percy's journey. And so this is all on Geek and Sentry's website. If you type in Critical Role, it has all of the episodes, and they even have one that is like a subgroup for Vox Machina called Vox Moronica, which is basically like, I guess you could say, a comedy equivalent to Vox Machina, which I totally recommend. It's really funny, but that's also, I guess you could say, like OVA or in between episodes of the series. So today I'm going to do a video about the last week's episode, which was episode 32, which is called Against the Tide of Boom. It is now out on Geek and Sentry right now. So spoiler alert, in case anybody would like to see the full video and not my synopsis of it, I would recommend you stop this video at this point at like 5:32 and I would go and watch it. It is about 3 hours, so I can wait. Otherwise, if you have already seen it and just want to hear how I explain the episode and see if I missed anything or just explain it in general, you can keep on watching. At the end, I will tell about a certain theory that I may or may not have with one of the characters and my understanding and what I think may or may not happen as the crew keeps going down their road. So in this episode, Ashley Johnson, who is working on Blind Spot right now, came in onto Skype with them as Pike. And so with Pike, Matt decided that she would be like I guess a ethereal type being that is helping them along the way. And they were like right in the midst of battling skeletons and everything else that's been going on, and they've been going kind of like to house to before this episode, kind of going house to house to kind of get justice for what has been happening. And Percy along the way has gotten a lot darker and the team is very worried. So now they're in like in the central square where like this rebellion is happening and everybody's there. So they keep fighting, and this is a really quick synopsis, but then by the end of the battle, they decide that okay, now's the time to rest, figure out a plan to what to go and do, and then go ahead and do it. So they rest, and they figured, well, Percy knows the castle really well, so let's get him and let's go into a secret entranceway and go into the castle. And that's where the story ended for that night, is when they're in the castle and they're in the dungeon portion of it, and they find this old lady in the cell, and upon inspection, as Vax tries to unlock it because they're still not really trustworthy of her. Matt said that when she was picking the lock, there was one hand that she felt clasping her hand as she was trying to open it. So in the Percy storyline, Percy tells us all about what has happened to him and how they met him in a dungeon 2 years ago. And one of the things is that the Briarwoods and other people of that central families / mercenaries were very they were like the central tormentors. So Ripley was the doctor who kind of worked on Percy, and so Percy was describing her and everything like that. And as I may recall, she may or may not have only one appendage. So when Matt told basically the group, but essentially Vax, that she only felt one hand, Marisha, who plays Keyleth, jumped up and said that has to be Ripley. So that's when the game ended on that note, and she was like, no, it was not Keyleth talking, it was Marisha, not a character. So that was the end of that episode. So next episode, in episode 33, we kind of carry on from what are we going to do with this old woman? Is it really Ripley, or is she someone completely different that they can't trust? And Growl, throughout the whole encounter of the lady, was very untrustworthy of her. And now with that explanation and that exclamatory statement from Marisha / Keyleth, there may or may not be a connection between the two. So my theory is it could be Ripley, and this is just all dramatic irony that's playing out. Or it just could be just an old woman who just happened to be at the castle at the wrong day at the wrong time. Either way, it does cause suspicion. So how I think it may carry out is, I think, given the track record of ladies in this game, essentially one, I'd say they may spare her, but I think they're going to keep a close eye on her, but I'm not so sure. I'm not even so sure if it's going to be Ripley or not. It seems very odd, but at the same time, I think when they asked about who lived in a different house, they said Ripley, and she wasn't there. So the connection between that disappearance at that house and this old lady showing up now kind of makes sense. And I don't know how old Ripley is, so it still could make sense, because also too, the Briarwoods are vampires, so they could have accelerated her age at some point, but we're not so sure. So it kind of ends on that note. So my reaction to it was I was very surprised, and I was very, very happy that Ashley couldn't make it for Pike's appearance. And, you know, as Critical Role does, adds a lot of humor and lightheartedness to a very bad situation that they're in at this point in time. And so far so good. I love the series. As people may or may not know, being a writer on Otakus and Geeks, I also write fan fiction. So I did write my own, or not did write, I am writing my own version of it. And I consider it kind of like another OVA that if they ever wanted to kind of take a break from certain points, they can kind of go to this type of story. And I've been posting it up on Twitter, and it's out on the site. So if you guys would like to see it, the prologue and the first 2 chapters are up. I would highly recommend it. It took me a very long time to write these, and it's only because of school that I haven't had enough time for it. But Thanksgiving break and Christmas break is almost upon us, so I'm very happy with that. So I'll be able to write a lot more. And that is essentially it. If there's anything that I have left out, especially for the critters out there who know essentially the ins and outs of each episode, if I left anything out for the other people who have not played, please let me know. Oh, actually, before I sign off, I'll tell you a little bit if I ever had a D&D experience. I did it once, and it was my first year here in college. And I did it with a group with my friend, and we decided, like, why not just to have an experience. And our party kind of got killed the first session that we had. I think I was a ranger, and I had a wolf, a big wolf for my companion, and I was an archer. So that's kind of like my favorite class, and I was an elf too, so that's my favorite class to play. Anyway, I only played it once, so I haven't had a chance to find another group to play D&D with. Maybe some way down in the future, but for right now, because of my conflicting time schedules with other things in my life, I cannot do that, but I would still love to do it. So that's my D&D experience, and this show has really helped me and piqued my interest into playing more role-playing games and to find more stuff about D&D. So I would like to thank to all the creators who are out there for listening. The next vlog will probably be over Thanksgiving break, because I'm not so sure if the show is going to be on during Thanksgiving, because it is a holiday. So we'll just have to wait and see for this episode. They announced if they're going to have one for next week. If so, then I'll be watching that as well. If not, then this Thursday coming up, which I will be watching, will be up by next week, probably before Thanksgiving. And for those of you who don't know where to go, you go to geekandsundry.com and you can see all of the episodes that they have so far. And for those of you who want to see it live, you go to www.twitch.tv.com and then you type in Geek and Sundry or you type in Critical Role and you click on it and it will go straight there. Since I live, my time schedule is different from theirs since they live in California. So in California, their time schedule is at 7 p.m. And my time, which is around in the Virginia area, that's at 9 p.m. So there's sessions that go for a very long time. I do stay up for, even for Christmas, which I will explain later in a later episode. So yes, so I'm so glad that everybody got to click on this video and to see my first vlog ever. Sorry if I seem nervous. I've never done this before, so please go easy on me. But thank you for clicking on it, and I will see you all later. Bye.